So before you get started on lesson 3, debugging with Scrat in our code.org express course series, there were a couple of things that I want to go over with you. So what I'd like you to do before we get started and before I continue on is I'm going to show you first, and then I want you to pause the video and do it yourself. So what I'm going to show you is how to open up the assignment and put it in a separate window. And I'd like you to pause the tutorial afterwards and do the same thing. So I'm going to first make sure that I'm logged into code.org. Okay, now I'm going to put this in a separate window by opening it up, meaning I dragged and dropped it down. So let me show you again. I clicked on the tab and I dragged it down. And then I'm going to make this about halfway. Now what I want you to notice is that I'm sticking to the edge on the right hand side over here for my window that will be on the right. And for my window that's on the left, I'm sticking to it being on the left edge. Okay, so my left edge, right? So I am logged in, so I am correct to where I need to be. I also want to make sure that I have opened up the assignment, lesson number 3, debugging with Scrat. So I'm going to click where it says here on number 2, click this link, and I'm going to click and drag that over here. So if you could please pause this tutorial and set up your desktop the way that you see mine here. We'll meet back together so I can go over a couple of things before you get started. All right, so at this point, your desktop should look like mine. The first thing I want to do is make sure that we have our what, why, and how, that we know what they are. So what do I need to learn? What jobs are in the tech field that I might not know about? What are the jobs of the future? Why do I need to learn it? Code is the language of the computer and an important step towards digital literacy. How are you going to know that you've learned it with this lesson in particular? You're going to predict where a program will fail, where you're going to modify an existing program to solve errors, and you're going to reflect on the debugging, that means fixing errors, process in an age-appropriate way. So you are going to be doing 3 things, or you're going to be submitting 3 things. However, you still are required to complete all of the assignments. So when you take your screenshot, as you can see in my example here, when you take your screenshot, I need to be able to see these circles in the background, and I should be able to tell that they are fully filled in green. If you have one that is not fully filled in green, that means that you didn't meet the requirements for that lesson, and you should go back and try it again because you haven't mastered that skill. And skills are only going to get harder until you have them mastered. Okay. So again, please make sure when you're taking your screenshot that your screenshot includes those dots in the background so I can tell that you have finished all of the puzzles. If I can't see the dots, I will send it back to you to redo. If the dots are not green, I will send it back to you to finish them all. So please make sure that you get that done. Okay. Also, too, the other error that I'm seeing a lot of students make, which is getting your work kicked back to you, is that you are not naming it correctly. So your screenshots are supposed to have names. So please make sure that you are actually naming them. Now, where it says first and last, that is your first and last name. Okay, I shouldn't see the words first and last, and I should not see my first and last name. I should see your first and last name. Lesson 3.10, 3.11, and 3.12. So for puzzle 10, your goal is to get the job done in 6 blocks. In lesson 11 or puzzle 11, 15 blocks. And in puzzle 12, there's no goal number, just the fewest blocks possible. So this is the third reason why students are getting their work kicked back to them. First reason, I cannot see the circles in the background. Please make sure you include those in your screenshot. Second, their files are not getting named correctly. So please make sure that you name your files correctly before you submit them. And third, they're not meeting the goals for each of the blocks. So if you're on an assignment, let's take a look at assignment 10 as an example. If you're on an assignment, it will tell you how many blocks you need to make that puzzle successfully, to complete that puzzle successfully. So if you have more blocks, then you will not get credit. Okay, so please make sure that you're paying attention to that. If you have fewer blocks and you can be successful, that's amazing. You just can't have more then. All right. So again, please remember those three things to make sure that the three or the green dots are in the background when you take your screenshot, all three of your screenshots. If there's more than one screenshot you have to submit. Please make sure that you are renaming them correctly, and please make sure that you're meeting the block goals if there are any. Okay. So at this point, go ahead and stop the tutorial and continue with your work. If you need help, raise your hand and I will be happy to help you.